The average price of a home in Chicago is around $375,000. That means the money you need to save in order to buy a home, which includes not only a down payment, which is 3.5% of the purchase price, but another 3% for closing costs, means that you need to save over $24,000 in order to buy a home. Now that's a lot of money, but don't worry, I'm going to tell you about some down payment assistance programs they have in Chicago. Some of these programs can save you up to $10,000 in closing costs. Let's go. Alright, let's get straight into it. The first program that offers down payment assistance is through CHA, which is the Chicago Housing Association. They currently have two programs, the Choose to Own program and the Purchase Assistance program. The Choose to Own program allows people who have a voucher in the CHA program to be able to buy a home and use that voucher towards their mortgage. This assistance can last up to 15 years. Let's take a look at the website to check out some more. Alright, so here's the website for Chicago Housing Authority's Choose to Own program. I'll make sure to leave a link for you in the description, or you can also just Google CHA Choose to Own program. But here's the website. It breaks down the program, so let's go over the program overview real quick. CHA's Choose to Own Ownership program allows qualified housing choice voucher and public housing families to use their housing subsidy to buy a home and receive monthly assistance with a portion of their mortgage payment. In addition to financial assistance towards the mortgage payment, the CTO program provides referrals to pre- and post-purchase homebuyer education, credit counseling, real estate and lending professionals, and other services to help families navigate the home buying process. Most CTO families utilize the voucher to pay a portion of their mortgage the same way families use a voucher to pay a portion of their rent. CHA uses the housing assistance payment to help families pay a portion of their monthly mortgage up to 15 years for working head of households and up to 30 years for elderly and disabled head of households. So that's definitely a plus. Like I said before, instead of using your voucher to go towards rent, you can put it towards a mortgage and actually own a home and start building equity. Now let's look at some of the eligibility requirements. So you must be a CHA voucher holder or public housing resident for at least 1 year. You must be in compliance and in good standing with HCV or PH lease. You must be a first-time home buyer and may not have owned a home within the last 3 years. So you really don't have to be a first-time home buyer. As long as you haven't owned a home within the last 3 years, you qualify. So then it looks like it says that over again, be a first-time home buyer, meaning you have not owned a home in the last 3 years, and you must meet the income, credit, and savings requirements. So what are those requirements? So for income, I imagine the requirements would be the same for you qualifying for the housing voucher in the first place. So I imagine if you qualify for the housing voucher, you can qualify for this program. Now for credit, it says it a little bit down here. You must be credit worthy with 1 year of good credit history. So to me, that means that they don't it sounds like, at least I'm speculating, but it sounds like they don't exactly focus on your credit score. They focus more along the lines of, you have good credit history for the past year. You don't have any missed payments, anything delinquent within the past year. So that's actually pretty lenient. So for savings and down payment, working or self-employed families must have $3,000 in the bank account with the capability of continuing to save. An elderly or disabled head of households must have $2,000 in a bank account with the capability of continuing to save. So it looks like they require you to save at least $3,000, which, compared to the $24,000 that you would need to buy a home in the first place, it's not bad at all. So if you have a housing voucher and you're looking to stop renting and looking to buy a home and you need some help, this is a program I definitely would consider. The next program that CHA offers is called the Purchase Assistance Program. The good thing about this program is that you can have access to it even if you're not a voucher holder. If you're not a voucher holder, they can offer up to $10,000 in down payment assistance. And if you are a voucher holder, they offer up to $20,000 in assistance. Let's check out some more. Now let's take a look at CHA's down payment assistance program. So for this program, the down payment assistance program helps families with upfront cost of buying a home. CHA residents are eligible for a $20,000 grant. However, CHA residents who receive a grant will be transitioned off of their subsidy. If you are not a CHA resident but an Illinois resident or moving to Chicago, you're eligible for a $10,000 grant. So, if you have a housing voucher and you're currently on the program, you're eligible for up to $20,000 in down payment assistance. That's a large chunk of the down payment or the money that you need to save in order to close. And even if you don't have a voucher or you're not in the program, you're still eligible to receive a $10,000 grant. That's a lot of money. Now let's take a look at the eligibility. So you have to be a first-time home buyer, which means you must not have owned a home within the last 3 years. So once again, you don't have to be a true first-time home buyer. You just have to not have owned a home within the last 3 years. So you have to meet the income requirements, and let's take a look at the income requirements. To qualify, your family's combined annual gross household income must be below 120% of the area median income for the Chicago metropolitan area as determined by HUD. If you're not in a CHA program, you can still apply, but your family's combined annual gross household income must be below 80% of the median income for the Chicago metropolitan area. So, what is the median income? Alright, so I had to stare at this graph for a little bit, but I think I got it figured out. So, for the median family income in the Chicago metro area, you're at about $120,000. So that means if you have a voucher, then you have to be within 120% of this $120,000. Now, if you don't have a voucher, then you have to be within 80% of this 120,000. So if we come over here, you see where it says low 80% income limits, then these are the numbers for the person in your family. Like I see it's a little bit different. So I imagine this median family income is for a 4-person household. But for non-voucher holders, you can pretty much see what your limits are here based on the number of people in your household or number of persons in your family. So let's go back. Now, in the eligibility requirements, we skipped a few things over here, so let's just go over it. Once again, you have to be a first-time home buyer, meaning you haven't owned a home within the last 3 years. For the grant limits for non-CHA residents, combined grants and credits cannot exceed 20% of the purchase price. Your debt-to-income ratio has to be no more than 50% of your income. So a quick breakdown of your debt-to-income ratio basically means that your total monthly mortgage payments for money that you borrowed from a loan, so let's say credit card payments, car payments, mortgages, stuff like that, it cannot be more than 50% of your gross income. So let's just say your gross income is $2,000 a month. You can't have total monthly payments of more than $1,000. So your credit card payments, once again, your student loan, your car payments, your monthly payments can be no more than 50% of your gross income. Actually, now that I look on here, it doesn't say gross income. Usually it's gross income, but it could be net income. So they didn't exactly make that clear here. So let me just, clear that up. But property location, a property must be within the city of Chicago. The home must be your primary residence. As far as eligible homes, you can buy single family homes, townhomes, condos, or 2 to 4 unit buildings. So if you're looking to house hack, this strategy or this grant program can help you out. And landlord training. If you buy a 2 to 4 unit property, you must attend landlord training, which covers the Cook County Landlord's Ordinance. You must be a U.S. citizen, and you have to sign an owner occupancy agreement. Now, let's head back to the beginning. So looks like the eligibility for the program. We just went over most of that, but let's see what else we have here. So homebuyer education, all household members listed on the purchase contract must complete an 8-hour homebuyer education class from a HUD-approved provider. You need a valid pre-approval from one of our approved lenders. and you need a purchase agreement. So provide proof that you've signed a purchase agreement for the home you want to buy. So that basically means that you've taken a look at a home and you've come to an agreement to buy a property with the seller, and you and the seller have signed an offer. Next, contribution. You must contribute at least $3,000 to purchase. If you receive Social Security income, the required amount is $2,000. So it's the same as the Choose to Own program. They want you to have at least $3,000 or put at least $3,000 toward the purchase of the home. To get started with this program, they have a quick breakdown for you here. So first, you apply with the home loan with one of CHA's approved lenders. So you'll reach out to one of these lenders and let them know that you're looking to buy a home, and then they'll run your paperwork and let you know what your budget is, how much you can qualify for. Next, you'll shop for a home with a realtor such as myself and submit an offer on the property. After a seller accepts and signs your offer, the document will become your purchase agreement. Once you have completed that purchase agreement, contact your lender and let them know you're ready to complete the pre-screen and apply for the CHA Down Payment Assistance Grant. Now, if you go a little bit further down, you see some of the documents that you'll need. So you'll need to submit documentation for the following, which is your working income or disability or retirement income. Statements showing the required assets, $3,000 in cash or $2,000 in Social Security benefits, so your bank statements pretty much. Pre-approval from your mortgage lender, your purchase agreement, your U.S. government issued ID, and your lender documents. So that's a quick breakdown of CHA's down payment assistance programs. And once again, I love this one because you do not need to be a voucher holder. You can apply for this even if you aren't in the CHA program. And you can receive up to $10,000, which would be a big help as far as down payment assistance. The next down payment assistance program available to anyone in the Chicagoland area is one I've talked about a lot if you listen to any other videos on my channel, and it's called the IDA program. The reason I love the IDA program is that you don't even need to be a first-time homebuyer in order to have access to it. The IDA program pretty much has 3 different down payment assistance programs: the forgivable, the deferred, and the repayment program. Let's go to the website to see what they're talking about. Now let's check out the website for the IDA grant, and IDA stands for Illinois Housing Development Authority. And also this information is now available on idamortgage.org. But let's scroll down, see what they have to say. Does your borrower meet the general criteria for a home loan but lacks the down payment? Because this happens far too often, IDA has created loan programs that provide down payment assistance and closing cost assistance for borrowers who would otherwise qualify for a mortgage. All right, let's check it out. So here is the first type of program that I mentioned, the IDA Access Forgivable Mortgage. So they give 4% of the purchase price up to $6,000 in assistance for down payment and closing costs, forgiven monthly over 10 years. So basically, you don't have to pay it back. You get a 30-year fixed rate mortgage with an affordable interest rate, and it's available for all mortgage types. So FHA, VA, USDA, whatever you got. And it's available to first-time and repeat home buyers statewide, so all over Illinois, and you do not need to be a first-time home buyer. Now, for the requirements, of course, you must meet the household income and purchase price limits. Now, let's take a look to see what those are, because that's important. So, your maximum income limit, we're going to focus on the Chicagoland area. So that's Cook County, DuPage County, Kane, Lake, McHenry, and Will. So your income limit is a little over or almost $144,000, and that's non-targeted. And let's see what they have to say for targeted. It's pretty much the same thing. So I'm back at the top. Let's take a look at the purchase price limits. So for the Chicagoland area, for 1 unit, it's around $644,000, and for 2 units, the maximum purchase price is almost $800,000. So you can buy a 2-unit property with this and use this down payment assistance. So that is a plus. So back to the requirements for the forgivable grant. Your minimum credit score required is 640. You can buy both new construction and existing homes. First-time and non-first-time home buyers are allowed. All Illinois counties are eligible. And you must contribute either $1,000 or 1% of the purchase price, whichever is greater. So if you're buying a $300,000 home, you have to contribute $3,000. Now, you must live in the home as your primary residence, so you have to be an owner-occupant, and you have to complete a homeownership counseling course. The next program IDA offers is called the deferred mortgage, and with that, you can get 5% of the purchase price up to $7,500 in assistance for your down payment and closing costs, offered as an interest-free loan deferred for the life of your mortgage, so you do not need to repay it unless you sell your home, refinance, or pay off your mortgage. Okay, so basically, well, like they said, you don't have to pay off the loan unless you decide to sell the loan or until you pay off your mortgage, which would be 30 years. So you get a 30-year fixed rate mortgage with an affordable interest rate. Once again, it's available for all mortgage types and available to pretty much all buyers. Now, the requirements for this, it looks like it's the same as the first. So let's check the income and purchase price limits just to make sure. Yeah, it takes you to the same place. So the income and purchase price limits are the same. Credit score requirement of 640. Yep, everything for the requirements is the same as the first. Now let's go to the third type, which is the repayable mortgage. And for this, you can get 10% of the purchase price up to $10,000 in assistance for down payment and closing costs, offered as an interest-free loan repaid monthly over a 10-year period. So for this one, you're not necessarily, you're getting a grant. Well, you're pretty much just getting a loan that's a down payment assistance, but it's an interest-free loan and you pay it back over a 10-year period. Now, the good news is that it is interest-free, so you don't have to worry about that. And it does, once again, help you if you're having trouble with that down payment or coming up with that down payment. So it looks like everything else is the same as the other two. 30-year fixed rate mortgage, available for all mortgage types, available to all buyers. Minimum credit score 640, both new construction and existing homes. And you must contribute $1,000 or 1% of the purchase price. And you have to live in the home, so be an owner occupant. So this loan is great because not only does it have the three types, it has the forgivable mortgage up to the one where you repay it, where you can get even more money. But pretty much anyone looking to buy a home in Illinois has access to this grant. I mean, this grant isn't hard to qualify for. So if you can, I would suggest going after this because, hey, why not receive some help with your down payment?
The third down payment assistance program that's available to buyers in the Chicagoland area is called the Federal Home Loan Bank of Chicago Down Payment Plus program. If you can qualify for it, you can receive up to $10,000 in down payment assistance. And the good thing is that you can use this with any type of loan, which includes FHA, conventional, VA, whatever type of loan you have. Let's go to the website to learn some more.
Let's check out this Down Payment Plus program to see what's going on. So, open now and available until funds are fully reserved. Down Payment Plus and Down Payment Plus Advantage offers Federal Home Loan Bank of Chicago members easy to access down payment and closing cost assistance to help their income eligible customers achieve home ownership. Let's read a little bit more on the Down Payment Plus program. It's a program that provides down payment and closing cost assistance to income eligible home buyers, and it provides it in a forgivable grant that's paid at closing, and the grant is forgiven on a monthly basis over a 5-year retention period. Then there's also Down Payment Plus Advantage, which is a similar program, but it assists income eligible home buyers in participating in homeowner programs offered by nonprofit organizations that provide mortgage financing directly to the home buyer. Okay. So
For the program elements, the grant will be the lesser of $10,000 or 25% of the first mortgage amount. And it looks like the member limit is $1 million on a first come, first served basis as long as funds are available. Basically, I believe that means that they're handing out $1 million, and once they reach that $1 million, then that's the end of the program. I believe that's what that means. Program beneficiaries are required to complete both pre-purchase homebuyer education and counseling, which same as the other down payment programs. So let's see a little bit more about what we have to do. Okay, so application and eligibility. Members wishing to participate must execute a program agreement with the FHL Bank Chicago. And let's see a little bit more. Okay, here's how you can apply. So first you have to contact a down payment plus provider, which is offered by members of the FHLB Bank Chicago. Home buyers must apply and qualify for the first mortgage financing through participating lenders in order to access the funds. And you basically get started by contacting a participating lender in order to access the program. Once you do that, you will apply and you'll need the documentation, pretty much the same that you'll need to get pre-approved. Then from there you get your pre-approval, which the bank will work with your lender to review your application and eligibility. After that, then you pretty much go after the home. So to break it all down, your first step, if you're interested in this program, would be to reach out to a participating lender, let them know that you're looking to buy a home and you want that down payment assistance. And that'll start the steps from there. Once you get pre-approved, just like anything else, you'll find a realtor like myself. We'll search for homes, get you your perfect home under contract, and go from there. This is yet another option that you can use to help with those high down payment costs and make it easier to close and help you leave with a little bit more money in your pocket.
So while those are 3 programs that are available to home buyers in the Chicagoland area that will help you out with your down payment, those aren't the only programs. What I always recommend is to make sure to speak with your lender and ask them, what down payment assistance programs do you offer? Let me know in the comments any other hidden gem down payment assistance programs that you know about. And also, if you're looking for homes for sale in the Chicagoland area and you want to see some examples, check out my channel.